What up, guys? Your boy Quake back with a brand new episode of the Diverse Mentality Podcast, number 279. Of course, powered by Golden Eagle Energy Drink. Go ahead and check them out at drinkgoldeneagle.com/DMP. They've sponsored all of season 4 of the podcast. So support them. Get yourself a 24-pack. It's the greatest energy drink that's out there. Matches Red Bull, but it's a lot smoother and a lot cheaper. So check them out, drinkgoldeneagle.com/DMP. And let's get into the news. And unfortunately, we're going to start off with a little bit of sad news, and that's the passing of DJ Mister Cee. He has passed away at the age of 57, and it was the most random thing because just the night before he was DJing at an event. So let's go over the article. Mister Cee, best known for his work on New York City's Radio 103.9 and Hot 97, has passed away at the age of 57. Born Calvin LeBurn in Bedford Stuyvesant district of Brooklyn in 1966, Mr. Cee became famous as a member of pioneering hip-hop crew Juice Crew, along with fellow titans such as Cool G Rap, Biz Markie, Masta Ace, and many more. Furthermore, he was also the DJ in Big Daddy Kane's explosive 1988 debut album, Long Live the King, as well as the executive producer for Notorious Big's 1994 debut album, Ready to Die. In fact, Cee was the first to co-sign Biggie before he appeared in the Source's unsigned hype section, thus kicking off his career. During his time on the radio, specifically with Hot 97, the veteran earned the nickname The Finisher. Just one day before his passing, Mr. Cee took to Instagram to Instagram himself to announce a new show on Rock the Bells Radio, wrote tonight. So that was literally last night as of the recording of this podcast. We don't know what what he passed away from, but MC Lyte took to her Instagram on Wednesday, April 10th, to pay tribute. Legendary broadcaster, and wrote, "I'm heartbroken. Wasn't expecting this at all." So yeah, there hasn't been official details as to why he's passed away. Who knows? But we'll probably details will come from that more probably down the line. But I kind of want to share a story, Mr. Cee, that happened to me. It wasn't anything super significant, but it meant a lot to me because this is when I was just starting on YouTube. I started in 2017, so this was 2018, and I had dropped the 50 Cent versus Ja Rule documentary, and obviously blew up. Right now it's like at 3.5 million, almost 4 million views, but at the time it blew up 500,000 views, whatever the amount was at the time. And Fat Man Scoop, who's very, very close friends with Mr. Cee, who just sent his condolences. So I'm praying for him as well because I know he's going through a lot. But Fat Man Scoop reached out to me via DM and sent me a voice message. And I was like, okay, whoa, like, is this the real Fat Man Scoop? This is the guy? Boom, check his Instagram. It's him. Sends me the voice note. Hey, Quake, me and Mr. Cee, and you can hear Mr. Cee in the background a little bit. We're watching the 50 Cent versus Ja Rule, Who Really Won documentary you made in our barbershop here. We're all discussing about how detailed you are and how we're so surprised we didn't even know all these details about the beef. And I was just like speechless. Like, that meant the world to me. For Mr. Cee and Fat Man Scoop to decide to show me love on that documentary and just reach out via DM, it meant so much to me, and it just shows to the character of DJ Mister Cee. Just to do that to, like, me, I'm just a random YouTuber, didn't have that many subscribers. I think I just reached 100,000 at the time, which is a decent amount. I mean, it's good, but it's not like anything crazy. And for him and Fat Man Scoop to reach out to me, show love, and just were like, why? They were wondering, why isn't my documentaries on Netflix? Like, this is better than Netflix. Like, why don't you have a deal? And I was just like explaining, hey, I don't know. I'm just kind of doing my thing and hoping that, that's what it leads to. And he was like, keep doing your thing, and it's amazing. And I'm going to look forward to the other ones that you do and all that. We didn't really remain in touch. I'm terrible at that, by the way, remaining in touch with people and just like talking to them consistently and building a relationship. I'm horrible with that with people. That's why probably a lot of the times I don't get the same maybe opportunities as other YouTubers because I'm more laid back into myself. That's just how I've always been. Like, I have to really, really like you in order for me to constantly have a conversation with you and just, I don't know. It's like I don't know. Maybe it's because I just don't want to build these relationships and then they go sour. And that's happened to me so many times. It's kind of like a trauma response, which is a bad thing, obviously. But to me, it's just like I'm very distant with a lot of people. There's only a few people that are really, really close to me, and I kind of prefer it that way. I can't, I don't know, just building. I don't know how, there's people that are just so extrovert that they have relationships with so many people, and that probably won't ever be me. So far, it hasn't been me, so I don't think that's going to change anytime soon. But I do need to get better at building relationships and just staying in touch with people, man, as much as I can, because these type of things happen, and then you kind of regret it. So I just wanted to share that little story of Mister Cee and the interaction I had with him and the fact that he showed me love. Appreciate it so much. And obviously, you're a pioneer in hip hop. If it wasn't for you, a lot of things wouldn't have happened. So condolences to his family and his friends. Rest in peace to DJ Mister Cee. We'll keep our eyes posted on the reason why he passed away down the line. Continuing on, updates on a lot of stuff from previous podcasts. The YSL Rico trial. Apparently, there was an investigator that got exposed for allegedly sexually harassing a witness over text messages. So let's go over the article. The Young Thug YSL Rico trial has continued to take wild twists and turns, and at this time, an investigator from District Attorney Feeney Willis' office has found himself in the crosshairs after he appeared to sexually harass a witness over text. In a recording played for the jury on Monday, April 8th, it was revealed that investigator Rashid Hamilton began sending personal messages to a witness identified as A. Bennett. Bennett, who complained about Hamilton's harassment of her last month, claimed that Hamilton, why am I messing his name up? Hamilton tried to date her as he continued to try to win her over to testify against Thugga and his co-defendants. Wow. Hit me up if you're bored later. We're not gonna talk shop, he wrote on one text. Young Thug's lawyers were alerted to text messages, and Keith Adams, a member of the rapper's legal team, directly addressed them with Bennett during her testimony. Did he address you as mama on more than one occasion? Adams asked. Yes, Bennett answered. And this is February 7th, 2024, this year, when the investigator for the DA's office is supposed to be talking to you about the case, but in fact is talking to you about going on a date. Is that true, he asked. Yes, Bennett answered. Wow. Prosecutors, however, argued that Hamilton's text messages to Bennett were little more than niceties that they extended to all witnesses during trial. So they're just saying it was just being nice, basically. So we'll keep our eye on this, see what happens. But man, it's weird, man. There's a lot of moving pieces in this trial. It's just a lot of different things are happening. And then here's now Gunna. Gunna apparently will not be taking the stand in Young Thug's Rico trial. So I don't know if that changes people's perspective on Gunna, if he's a snitch or not. Some people view him as a rat and a snitch. Some people don't. Me, I don't give two flying fucks. If Gunna makes good music, it's got nothing to do with me if he's a snitch or not. I don't know why that plays a big role. Gunna to me is not really, at least I don't view him as this gangster rapper and stuff like that. To me, it doesn't really matter. I think Gunna is just a talented artist, and it doesn't affect any of us. So at the end of the day, it's like, besides the people that, are close to him and involved with him. So at the end of the day, if he drops music, I'm still going to listen to it. I remember posting me listening to Gunna's South to the West record on Instagram. And one guy's like, why are you bumping a rat? I'm like, bro, who gives a 6ix9ine, Gunna, anybody who snitches, it's got nothing to do with us. I'm not a street guy. I don't abide by street codes. To me, it doesn't matter. And I know somebody's going to throw at me, what about William Roberts, a.k.a. Rick Ross? You chastise him for, being a former correctional officer and rapping about this and that, and he's not real to who he is. That's a whole different story. That's stealing somebody's whole identity and doing a whole different, living your life based off somebody else's life. Some CB4 shit. That's a whole different story, in my eyes at least. So continuing, let's see what this article says, reading in on. Gunna is confirmed to not be taking the stand in Young Thug's ongoing Rico trial, but Birdman still remains on the witness list. Interesting. Gunna, who previously accepted a controversial plea deal in the case, will not be called to take the stand after the judge ordered the prosecution to cut down on the number of witnesses they plan to question. There were originally over 700 named witnesses put forward by the state, but now only around 200 could be called to take part in the trial. Gunna's name was removed from the revised witness list as well as Lil Wayne's and Young Thug's brother Unfunk. It's a weird name. Who was previously sentenced to over 9 years in prison. Interesting. The names that are still there are YFN Lucci, Birdman, and Rich Homie Quan. Notable names, at least. So around 200. Damn, they had 700 people that were looking. Yeah, the judge is right. That's way too long of a fucking list. Huh. That's insane. But I wonder, man, if they call Birdman there, Rich Homie Quan, YFN Lucci, do they have to? That's what I'm wondering. If they call them to take the stand as witnesses, do they have to or no? I forget, because I know there's some rules where like you have to, and you can just ignore the questions and be like, I plead the fifth, whatever. But I don't know. Legally, I don't know that the details of that. But yeah, Gunna's clearly off the list, so he didn't really have anything much to do with a lot of the stuff. Even if he did, man, he did what he did. He pleaded the deal. Young Thug hasn't really spoken out against him or anything. So, if Young Thug said, hey, get this message out there, Gunna's a rat, we don't fuck with them, it would have been a whole different story with just hip-hop in general. They would have been like, okay, this guy's something else. But there's some artists not working with him, with Gunna at all. They don't want to even do anything with him. Lil Baby used to be with Gunna a lot. Lil Baby's like sending subliminal shots at Gunna. So that's going to be interesting if that beef starts to actually rise up, because there has been subliminal shots back and forth. And, it's interesting. It's like the Kendrick and Drake thing. Who knows how long it will take by the time they actually, decide to diss each other. But yeah, we'll keep our eye posted on all this stuff. Continuing on from previous episodes as well, Jam Master Jay's convicted killer appeals the guilty verdict, which is something that's no surprise, quite frankly. Jam Master Jay's convicted killer, Ronald Washington, has filed a motion to appeal his guilty verdict, claiming that the prosecution failed to provide a link between him and the so-called drug conspiracy that was at the crux of the murder of the Run DMC legend. According to court documents obtained by Hip Hop DX, Washington, who filed the motion on Friday, April 5th, now moves for a judgment of acquittal, and the alternative, he's pushing for a new trial. Washington claims that none of the testimony by the other defendants could implicate him in the matter. And therefore, for the foregoing reasons, Ronald Washington's motion for a judgment of acquittal under Rule 29 should be granted, or in the alternative, a new trial should be ordered. Interesting. Well, the final suspect, like I reported in the last podcast, is considering a new plea deal. So we'll see if he actually gets a new trial for him, or gets anywhere going with that. But that's an update from the Jam Master Jay stuff. Nardo Wick, it looks like, man, he can't catch a break. Of course, a couple of months ago, we reported on Nardo Wick and his security doing something to a fan and getting him really hurt. And, he didn't backtrack, but he apologized for everything and, visited the fan and everything else. And that looked really bad on him. But this looks even worse. This is a family member. So this is like worse than just your security doing something or your friend doing something. So let's go over article, what's going on. Nardo Wick's brother has found himself in a world of trouble after investigators claim he was caught on camera shooting at a home in St. Johns County, Florida. The rapper's brother, Hayward Biggins, remains in jail as of Monday, April 8th, after police say he shot into an occupied home on March 14th. He has also been charged with attempted burglary, per First Coast News, and his next court date is Thursday, April 11th. The tenants were pretty happy living there for a few months. They moved in December, no issues. They really loved the house until this happened, the homeowner said. The identity of the homeowner has not yet been revealed due to privacy concerns. Nardo Wick has not been charged with any crime in connection to the shooting. Back in February, Nardo's appearance on the 50 Women vs. One Rapper YouTube dating show prompted headlines, but not for the right reasons. Nardo Wick hasn't had a hit in a minute, so I don't know how long he's going to be a topic of conversation, because all I remember him for right now is Who Won't Smoke With Me. Who Won't Smoke With Me. But that's fucked up. Like, his brother, come on, man, makes Nardo Wick look bad. His brother can do, like, come on, bro, your brother's Nardo Wick. There's something that you can do where you can not end up in trouble. Become his assistant, become his promoter, his manager, whatever the fuck. Like, that's just embarrassing, man. I would never, if my brother right now became somebody really huge, like, I would figure out a way to try to help him so I can get in on it. Because, if he makes 10 million, I could potentially make $1 million. So that's the thing in this. Like, I'm surprised that his brother has done dumb things like that. But, who knows how close Nardo Wick was with his brother, and if they were constantly traveling together, or, if they're just distant brothers that don't really conversate with each other. That's another possibility. But other than that, just a bad look, and we'll keep our eyes posted and see if anything updates from this. Nicki Minaj, this is a weird and crazy lawsuit. And I forgot that this happened to Nicki Minaj's father. It's a while ago, but there's been some updates, and the person that allegedly killed her father is suing her. So let's go over the article. Nicki Minaj's father was tragically killed in 2021, and his killer now wants the MC to be deposed in a $150 million lawsuit. That's wild. According to an exclusive report published by Radar Online on Tuesday, April 9th, Charles Pelovich has asked for the courts to permission to depose the rapper as part of the wrongful death lawsuit that Minaj's mother filed against him as he was driving the car that killed Robert Mirage. That's sad, man. He wants the Superbass hitmaker to take the stand in relation to claims she has made about her childhood and her father being abusive to her mother. In a newly filed motion, Pelovich's lawyer said Carol Mirage was recently deposed over the course of 2 days, and most recently on December 15, 2023. About it, he said the deposition involves questions wherein the issue of domestic abuse is discussed. Carol acknowledges that statements related to the topic of domestic abuse were made, but Carol does not offer meaningful responses regarding the veracity of the statements made. Nicki's father was killed in a hit and run a little over 3 years ago, following which Pelovich was sentenced to 1 year in prison by Judge Howard Sturin in Nassau County, New York. He previously pled guilty to a pair of felonies, leaving the scene of an incident without reporting it and tampering with physical evidence, and had his license suspended for 6 months. Additionally, he had to pay a $5,000 fine. The 72-year-old was initially facing a maximum of 7 years in jail, but the judge stood by his promise of sentencing him to 1 year behind bars. Mirage was struck by a vehicle on Long Island on February 12, 2021, while walking northbound between Roslyn Road and Raff Avenue. He was rushed to the hospital in critical condition but succumbed to his injuries. He was 64 years old at the time of his passing. The driver fled the scene and eventually surrendered to Nassau County Police 3 days later after law enforcement found the car in question with an altered appearance. Shortly after her parents' passing, Nicki Minaj took to her website to pay tribute to him, describing his departure as the most devastating loss of her life. That's wild that you can hit somebody, do a hit and run, kill the person, and only get a year. And it's in jail, not even in prison. Like, what? That's the most, like I get the lawsuit, $150 million, whatever. I don't even, like, the lawsuit makes no sense to me when you break things down. But I'm more surprised that this guy only got a year in jail after killing somebody, running them over. He was originally supposed to get 7 years, but the judge basically, kind of made him a deal, I guess, which is wild, man. But the guy is a lot older, so he's 72 years old. So I still, even though you're 72 years old, if you can't drive, you don't know what the fuck you're looking at, if you're not even cognizant enough to drive yourself, do not drive. You should not be on the road. And I think that's what the judge was probably factoring in, which is bullshit. At that age, if 72, here's the thing, it's old. But if you take care of yourself at 72, you should still be able to have cognitive abilities and be able to drive and, still know what the hell's going on. Now, if you don't take care of yourself, then yeah, you'll deteriorate at 72 and you will not be able to drive. You'll, whatever disease you'll probably have, cancer or whatever, because nowadays there's so much stuff causing so many diseases that you have to be very careful in how you take care of yourself, even when you're young. I've been researching a lot about just food in general and things that, are bad for your body that you're congesting and a lot of different things, So I don't care at the age, like, even if he's 72, he should have got life because he fled the scene. He hit somebody and fled the scene. Even if if Nicki Minaj's father didn't die, right? You still fled a scene of hitting somebody. So that should count for, hey, he doesn't care about this person's life at all. Because if this person, let's just say he hit him, right? And decided to get out the car and say, oh my God, what happened? Let's try to help him. Immediately call ambulance. And actually was there. That could potentially have saved his life. Instead, hit this person, dipped, and left. And we don't know how long the time frame was before somebody finally got to him, helped him out, got him to the hospital, and so on and so forth. So, at least 7 years he should have got. And if he would have got a reduced sentence for all these other things, then go from 20 years to 7. Something, because a hit and run and killing somebody, nah, man, that's I don't care. That's ridiculous. A year is like nothing. It should be a minimum 5 years in my eyes, because it's like, unless, depending on the circumstances of the situation, I don't care if you're old though. That wouldn't, for me as a judge, that wouldn't really like change the situation. But it depends on the circumstances. If was it really late at night, did you not see the person crossing the street? What was the kind of, and it's hard to prove those type of things, but camera sometimes can pick up a lot on those things. And obviously your intent after you hit the person, was it to escape and hope that you never got caught with the situation? Was it try to help the person? If you try to help, obviously that would look like you didn't mean to do it and it was an accident and you're trying to, help in the situation. But whatever. Insane, man. $150 million lawsuit is ridiculous. So he's never going to get that money ever. I just know 100%. But, we'll keep our eyes posted and see what happens. Speaking of lawsuits, Diddy, this guy cannot catch a break, man. Everything. I just can't help but laugh because this is ridiculous. Everything is piling on this guy. Like within 6 months, like everything is gone wrong for this guy. And I don't know. It's just, at certain levels, man, it has to fuck up your psyche in one way or another. But another person is suing Diddy, and it's not for any sexual assault or anything like that. It's for a scrapped art project. Yes, not even kidding. Let's go over the article. Diddy has been hit with yet another lawsuit, this time filed by an artist who claims that he still hasn't been paid for the art he made for the embattled Bad Boy. According to court documents obtained by Hip Hop DX, Raven Production Management Group, LLC, geez, that's such a long name, filed a complaint in the Southern District of New York as of Tuesday, April 9th. The plaintiff is claiming that Phantom Labs and Matthew Lupton reached out to him and commissioned a sculpture for an event that the businessman was putting back on in August 2023. The artist further claimed that Diddy signed the contract and even promised him funds the very next day to begin the project, after which he incurred an additional $20,000 in cost for the project. When the assignment was paused due to the event being postponed, he was never paid for the work despite incurring more than $97,000 in costs. Hence, the filing proposes damages to Raven, an amount to be determined at trial, but no less than $200,000 for breach of contract, no less than $96,000 for fraudulent inducement, and additional damages for tortious interference with contract and business relations, deceptive trade practices, unjust enrichment, and quantum merit. Wow. Yeah, that would suck, man. That's the problem with a lot of these. I'm not saying every celebrity or anybody rich does this, but sometimes rich people get stingy and they like, you need to, if you're gonna do something for somebody at a high level, you need to, hey, this is what's gonna cost. I'm gonna need funding for this, and then you pay me half of whatever the labor is, and then hope that through good faith that the other half will be paid. I know he canceled the event, but hey, you got this person starting something, putting up their time and money to do something, and then because you canceled the event, you don't want to pay the guy. Like, no, you shouldn't have hit the person up unless you knew 100% you were doing the event. So, it sucks, man. I know I've been in situations where I've done something for somebody I was supposed to get paid and just doesn't happen. And I never want that feeling for anybody. For me personally, I try to pay everybody on time as much as I can, as best as I can. Now things get in the way, but I always communicate with the person and make sure that, hey, something came up, I can't do it right now. Please give me an extra week, whatever the case may be, because I don't want to, I wouldn't want that happening to me. I've had it happen to me and I don't like the feeling. So, and I just can't sleep with myself not paying people what they're owed. So yeah, we'll keep our eye on this. It sucks. Obviously, Diddy's getting like 90 million types of lawsuits. Fortunately, this is not that high in price when it comes to what Diddy's used to. 200,000 ain't too bad. So Diddy should just honestly take care of it, settle it ASAP, just get it out the way, because it's going to pile on and more shit's going to happen. Before we continue, I want to give a shout out to Golden Eagle for sponsoring this podcast. Yes, if it wasn't for Golden Eagle, this podcast wouldn't be possible. If you're looking for an energy drink that doesn't tear a hole in your pocket, Golden Eagle energy drink is the one you want to get. Golden Eagle has the smoothest taste with no aftertaste. You don't get acid reflux when you drink it, and you will save a lot of money. So check out Golden Eagle at drinkgoldeneagle.com/DMP. The link is in the description below. And how do you think this podcast would be possible without me having energy to do it? Come on, guys. You guys got to remember this. I need energy to do this stuff, man, because there's a lot of crazy topics. So look how smooth this thing sounds. Look at it. Oh my God, it's fresh. Look at that Golden Eagle. Look at the can. It's so beautiful too, man. Look at that. That's so fresh, man. So fresh. Golden Eagle energy drink. Go to the link description below. That's drinkgoldeneagle.com/DMP. Let's continue the episode. Most people have reacted to J. Cole apologizing to Kendrick Lamar, and it took a lot of people by surprise when he did apologize. So let's go over all the reactions. And if you don't know what's happened these past couple of weeks, basically Kendrick Lamar on the Future and Metro Boomin project, We Don't Trust You, dissed mainly Drake and a little bit of subtle shots at J. Cole on the Like That track. Well, a couple weeks later, J. Cole decided to respond with his own track on his mixtape, Might Delete Later, and on the track 7 Minute Drill, he decided to respond directly to Kendrick Lamar. Well, everyone was excited about that. Everyone thought there was a battle that's going to happen because Drake hadn't responded to Kendrick Lamar. He was just dropping IG captions, and people were frustrated with Drake. But when it came to the J. Cole and Kendrick Lamar situation, it would seem things are finally starting when it comes to the battle. Then J. Cole hosts his Dreamville Festival, and he's headlining the second day, and while he's headlining, he decides to apologize to Kendrick Lamar and basically calls his diss track corny, and it was a dumb move, and that surprised literally everybody. We thought we are going to get a full-on battle. Some people kind of predicted it because a lot of people could hear, including me, that J. Cole didn't really want to go at Kendrick Lamar. If you listen to the diss track, he was kind of hesitant. He didn't want to do it. Even in the bars, he was explaining he didn't want to do it. But we thought, hey, you know what? It started. Let's get the show going. And J. Cole felt a different way. He said the next 2 days after he released the track, he wasn't able to sleep. It was messing with his energy and his vibes and his positivity. And then he backtracked the diss track and said basically, hey, I regret doing it and I apologize. That apology got a slew of responses from people in hip-hop. And I'm going to go over the first one, which I think is the most important, and that's Punch from TDE. If you don't know Punch, he is the co-owner/founder of TDE, and TDE was the label that signed Kendrick Lamar up until the Mr. Morale and Big Steppers. Then Kendrick Lamar went on his own thing and decided to do his PG Lang label, and that's where he's at right now. But Punch knows Kendrick Lamar really well, and this is what he had to say. The first thing he tweeted once the apology went viral on social media is LOL. Then he said, Cole is a very genuine guy. I respect it. We often give in to external pressures and outside influences and act out of our own character. It's rare to have enough heart to make the correction. It didn't align with him, so he fixed it in the same manner he engaged. Salute, and then he followed that up with P.S. I knew To Pimp a Butterfly was a good album, LOL. And that was the back and forth with a lot of people because J. Cole was calling To Pimp a Butterfly a boring album, and it was something that people critically acclaimed was a great album, and that's got people arguing back and forth. But, you know, with J. Cole's apology, clearly he didn't really genuinely feel that way. It was just something to really diss him and make a joke of his catalog. Speaking of the TDE family, Musa reacted to J. Cole's apology and posted a video of the One Republic Timbaland song called Apologize. And the song goes, it's too late to apologize. So he's saying, listen, it's too late to apologize to the situation. Kendrick's still going to go at you. So a lot of people took that tweet as they know Kendrick a lot better and that Kendrick is still going to go at J. Cole's neck. So if that happens, obviously things change and it's going to look very, very crazy on J. Cole's end of how he's going to react to it. So that's what TDE, some people from TDE's camp is feeling like Kendrick's going to do, is actually go at him and not accept the apology. And the next person that I think is the most important in response to this is Drake. He responded more indirectly/directly, and the indirectly one is through a different person, which is Academics. Academics revealed that he sent out the J. Cole apology to Drake, and Drake responded to it. So here's the video clips for that.
Please, and I sent the video of what this fuck nigga did. I said, well, please, don't do no shit like this. Please don't apologize or do no weird shit. Please don't do no shit like this. And this is the only thing I'll say. Drake blasted me. He said, I can't fucking believe you would pull up and say some shit like that to me. You must not know me, nigga.
And then following that, Drake and his team released what Drake writes on the whiteboard at his It's All a Blur tour, which he just ended. This apparently was written on his whiteboard every time he was at a stop at a show, and it's clear as day that Drake is ready to compete. So this is what the whiteboard says. The rap game will never be at peace. There will always be competition, and as long as there's competition, there will never be peace. Everyone wants to be the one. See, Drake understands the assignment, man. Even though he's ducking right now, I think he's got something cooking. I think he's going to drop something literally this Friday, the same day Future and Metro Boomin drop. And he might go at everybody. He might go at Future 2, Rick Ross, Kendrick Lamar. I think he should go directly at Kendrick mainly, but I think he's going to mix all those people in there because, you know, a lot of them have been running their mouths in this situation. Rick Ross has decided to detach from Drake. Future obviously sent those subliminals on the album, and then Kendrick Lamar, you guys know what he did. So we'll see what he does, but that's the indirect/direct messaging response from Drake when it comes to J. Cole apologizing. Following that, Meek Mill responded to J. Cole's apology to Kendrick Lamar, and this is what he had to say. Sonny Digital, major producer in Atlanta, said, "Y'all would really rather the greats beef instead of making music together. Crazy." And then he quoted that saying, "I'd rather Cole and Kendrick do the historic album, throw shots on the same album, and eat off of it. It's only words. They're smart. It won't be violent. Why everybody pushing beef, but when you on that, they say you crazy. The burning house." And then he followed that up, kind of backtracking, and said, "Last, I'm ego tripping, and J. Cole want a peace of mind after he felt like he tripped himself. And y'all still gassing. I never seen this type of behavior from people, but y'all need real people with a voice, or the sheep are doomed." I don't know what the hell Meek Mill is going on rambling about. He even decided to go at Wale, and his dude, he needs to stay away from social media. He just ruins any type of legacy he's got. He just rambles on things. I've seen a lot of people go on about oh, this is detrimental. This is not what artists supposed to be doing. In hip hop, all we do is tear each other down. Hip hop was built on competing. That's just the reality of what hip hop is. All it is competition. Nobody's asking to kill anybody. All we're asking is a friendly competition. Iron sharpens iron, and that's it. I used this example on the last podcast. Everyone wants to be the best. Doesn't matter what field you're in. You should always want to be the best. So I don't know what Meek Mill is rambling on about, but that's Meek Mill's response. Continuing on, 50 Cent reacted to J. Cole apologizing, and he did it in a way that's probably going to potentially bring something forward. Maybe J. Cole is going to rethink his apology because 50, you know, his history, he'll challenge anybody. Doesn't matter with him. He's challenged real street gangsters, rappers, whatever, and doesn't care. He's confrontation to him is comfortable. That's where he's comfortable at. So this is what 50 Cent had to say about J. Cole apologizing. He posted the apology on his Instagram, and in the caption said, "What the fuck, how I missed this? J. Cole, call my phone right now." 50 surprised he misses because he was actually performing at the Dreamville Fest the day before. So I don't think he knows that. I think he doesn't realize it was the next day that J. Cole performed and did that. So, you know, he's probably going to reach out to actually J. Cole, and maybe because he's close with Kendrick Lamar too. He's got a relationship with him. He's got a relationship with J. Cole. Those are the two artists out of the big three that 50's actually collaborated with, Kendrick and J. Cole. So, you know, he might be able to put them back together, squash anything, and then they might work on that collab album again. Who knows? We might get a collab album out of this. Maybe there's going to be some type of communication, or maybe Kendrick's going to say, I don't care. I don't care about your apology. I'm going to keep going in on you. You're clearly not built for this. Or who knows what's going to happen out of this situation. Maybe 50's going to put the battery in J. Cole's back to keep going at him. Who knows, but that's 50's response to it. Continuing on, Styles P responded, and Styles P's pen game is more than respectable. So let's go over and see what he had to say. He posted on his Instagram stories and said, "The MC with the competitive nature part of me is upset at that young man, while the mental wellness, take care of your spirit part of me is very proud of him. He just confused the shit out of my frequencies. But I'm going to always go with the take care of your spirit and please y'all self before you worry about pleasing others." He continued and said, "My hypothesis is this is something that he never wanted to do, but the nature of the game and what people can say can dictate your movement. Throwing jabs eventually leads to throwing power shots at some point, and that ain't his thing or something he wants to do with his fame. So he chose to bow out gracefully. Never knock a man for bowing out gracefully or choosing to protect his spirit. Whether you agree or not, that took courage to do. I respect his high vibrations part of it all. I did want to see a lyrical war, though that because I'm a petty MC, but I salute the young king for being himself." I think that's one of the best ways to word it, but we got to remember, J. Cole. Here's the thing that people are kind of missing. J. Cole, the past, I want to say 2 years, 3 years, has been spitting these bars about him being the greatest. I'm the greatest since Muhammad Ali. All these bars that if a rapper comes at him, he's going to sun them. That's what he's been spitting. If you're going to be spitting those type of rhymes and feeling like you're the best, period, and if somebody challenges you, you got to take up that challenge. That doesn't make any sense to me. You can't rap about being the best and then backing down when one of the best is challenging you. But, I guess because it's Kendrick Lamar, he has more of a close relationship. Maybe that's the reason why. But people, backtracked and was like, was he cool with Lil Pump? And after Lil Pump dissed him and then this and that, whatever. I don't know. I just think that's the part where I have an issue with. If you're going to rap about being the best, if someone challenges you to that, you got to, do it. So I get where Styles P is coming from, though. Mental health is obviously the number one priority, should be for everybody before pleasing others. Mick Jenkins, who is respected lyrically, he responded and said this: as a rapper's rapper, as a competitor, I am surprised, I am disgusted, I am disappointed. He followed that up and said, all my toughest battles in anything competitive been against the guys I respect the most. War and then dap right after. This is wild to me. And then he went on to say more about, hey, if you're going to rap about being the best, you should obviously, defend your title. If you're going to, somebody's going to challenge you, which, I agree with, of course. Continuing on, Lil Duval, the comedian, said, how you give up in a rap beef, you guaranteed not to die from. Bunch of laughing emojis. And that's what I mean, man. J. Cole and Kendrick Lamar, they're too intelligent. They're at a next level to be having this battle go to actual beef and people dying. So I never saw it going that way when it comes to J. Cole and Kendrick Lamar. And to be honest with you, it hasn't gone that way with mainstream artists since Tupac and Biggie. Now, has there been artists here and there? I know people are going to throw, what about NBA Youngboy, Lil Durk, and all these other artists that have, yes, they've had all kinds of instances happen, but I think at their age, Kendrick Lamar and J. Cole are way too mature. We're not talking early 20-year-olds. With Lil Durk is obviously now hitting his early 30s, but NBA Youngboy being a lot younger. We're talking a lot older, late 30s, early 40s. And that's, I can't see that type of mature artists doing that type of stuff. But that's it for some of the major responses when it comes to J. Cole's apology. What do you guys think of the apology? Do you guys accept it? Do you guys think it was corny? Do you guys think J. Cole should have never went at Kendrick Lamar in the first place? Me personally, I'm kind of in between. I've had my moments where I'm mad at J. Cole for apologizing and I like the competition. But the main focus, guys, should be Drake versus Kendrick Lamar. The Like That verse is mainly going at Drake. Drake could potentially be dropping something this Friday. So that's the main focus we should be having here. That's the main one that I really want to see because they've been throwing shots at each other since 2013. Long time coming, 11 years now. So hopefully that happens. It seems like Drake is gearing up to do something. I don't know what, because all those IG captions, he can't get away with keep doing that. Eventually it's going to be like, hey, this guy is not responding at all, which he might do. He might not ever respond. He never responded to Pusha T's Story of Adidon. He threatened to release a diss that was mainly aimed towards Kanye West, but nothing ever came out after that. So we'll see. We'll keep our eyes open. I'll keep you guys posted. Suge Knight has decided to pile on to all the backlash that J. Cole has gotten when it comes to his apology. And Suge Knight ain't holding back no punches. This is a guy that ended up in rough beef with, obviously, Puffy, Diddy, whatever you want to call him, Tupac, Biggie, ended up passing away, of course, getting killed. He knows, if he knows battles and beefs, he knows it. Same with Diddy. So let's go over what Suge Knight has to say about J. Cole apologizing. And to be quite frank, I agree with a lot of this. So Suge Knight has given J. Cole a light dressing down after he apologized to Kendrick Lamar for dissing him a 7-minute drill. In a clip from an upcoming episode of the Collect Call podcast obtained by TMZ, the incarcerated Death Row Records founder shared his disapproval of Cole backing down from the feud, reminding the North Carolina rap superstar hip-hop is a contact sport. Thank you, Suge Knight. Hip-hop was literally birthed with competition. Graffiti battles, fucking DJing battles, rap battles, breakdancing battles, whatever battles you can imagine, it was birthed on that. Anybody who tells you otherwise does not know hip-hop history. Now, that's not the only thing it was birthed on. I'm not saying that hip-hop was straight competition and that's it. No, that's not the case. But that's one of the core fundamental things of hip-hop. So let's play the clip and see what Suge Knight has to say.
Kendrick Lamar, Kendrick. He the only motherfucker with a cigar. J. Cole, you supposed to say what you mean what you say. To be the best, you gotta beat the best. This is contact sport. As we used to say back in the day, if you don't want to be a gangster rapper, go be R&B. West Coast, stand up. It's a victory. Kendrick Lamar's a real motherfucker from the hood. He really from there. And everybody gonna ride with him. J. Cole, with that attitude, we'll still be enslaved. Remember, be the best. You gotta beat the best. Just like it. When I said what I said about Puffy at the Source Awards, Puffy would have took his tail instead of getting on him. He'd have been a disappointment to my people, because he'd have been out to be a bitch in front of everyone. When one looked bad, we all look bad. We all gotta remember that. When Kobe Bryant played Michael Jordan in the All-Star game, Kobe showed up, played his best game ever. So we don't got time for no pussy shit. I'm gonna tell you like I tell my son, if you act like a pussy, people gonna treat you like a pussy. And you know what happens to a pussy? A pussy gets fucked. This is contact sport. Contact sport. You can't handle the field of tackle, down a flag. Kendrick Lamar, woo, West Coast, yeah, I'm smiling. Kendrick, I know I'm old now. You motherfucker got some five on that motherfucker. I'm gonna put on this all eyes on me and do 100 burpees, 100 push-ups, shit. I'm gonna work out all day. Like I said before, only the strong side. And for you weirdos, it's easy to be a soldier.
Suge doesn't hold back, man. Suge doesn't hold back, man. To be the best, you got to beat the best. It's a contact sport, as you used to say back in the day. If you don't want to be a gangster rapper, go be R&B. I mean, is J. Cole a gangster rapper? Suge? Come on. He's more of a conscious, does he have bars here and there about guns? I think every rapper at a certain extent does, but he's not really a gangster rapper. So that, I disagree with, but I do agree with the fact that, hey, if you want to be the best, you got to go up against the best. It's competition. Like I've always said, in any field, if you want to be the best, you're going to be going up against the best, and you're going to be competing against everybody. That's just the reality of any situation that you're in. If you want to be promoted, you want to make more money, you want to be more recognized, you want to have more respect, more people loving you, whatever the case may be, you got to go up against people and beat them and just perform better in whatever field that you're in. And like you was using examples, look, when one of us looks bad, we all look bad. When Kobe Bryant played Michael Jordan in the All-Star game, Kobe showed up and played his best game ever. Exactly. Did Kobe say, nah, man, it's Michael Jordan. I apologize, Michael Jordan. I'm not going to go up against you. No, you go up against the person. We're not saying for this thing to escalate and you guys shoot and kill each other, which wouldn't happen. On a J. Cole and Kendrick thing, it just wouldn't happen. They're way older, way smarter, way more mature at this age to even do that stuff. If it was the early 20s, when they're in the early 20s ages, maybe some things would get out of hand. But J. Cole's, 40? Damn near 40? I don't even know how old he is. And he's got kids and a wife. Come on, man. But then that's another argument that people are making. Oh, they're a lot older. They shouldn't be beefing. This is corny. They're too old. No, it's just hip-hop competition. It's just iron sharpens iron. If you don't want to compete, don't rap. And don't say I'm Muhammad Ali and this and that. Then just quit, retire. Hey, I'm 40 years old. I got a wife, 2 kids. I'm going to go retire. I'm not going to rap anymore. I'm going to leave this to young kids that want to compete. Do that then. Don't, tuck your tail and blah, blah, blah. I apologize. I didn't mean to me. So I agree with Suge Knight here on a lot of things. He says, I'll tell you like I tell my son. If you act like a pussy, people are going to treat you like a pussy. And you know what happens to pussy? A pussy gets fucked. Exactly. It's really that simple. But there are a lot of speculation now that J. Cole backed out because Kendrick and Drake were the main thing, and that him getting involved in that would kind of throw things off balance, and that, so we don't know what's happening behind the scenes, but right now what we can see is J. Cole backed out, and that's it. Now, can J. Cole redeem himself? Will J. Cole fall off? Will people not ever listen to J. Cole anymore? No. He still has a hardcore fan base. I'm still going to be checking for the fall off. I'm still a J. Cole fan, but I just don't like the bars of, hey, I'm the best, I'm Muhammad Ali, this and that. You can't really rap that if, you had a moment to kind of prove that, and you didn't. So, Suge Knight's from the old school, man. Suge Knight's from the days of hip-hop where people would compete. And, now, unfortunately, we don't have a lot of that. Drake, if he actually responds, man, you got to give it up to Drake. Then he's keeping the essence of hip-hop alive, because Drake has been in battles left and right. Like a lot of battles, man. Pusha T is obviously the most notable because of what happened. Meek Mill, Common. But early on with this guy, I forget his name, he's from Canada. He did the song, I'm so fly, I stay high, whatever that song is. Let me see if I can find it. I'm so fly. He had a battle with him where that guy was clowning Drake after the song. Big Page is the artist featuring Drake. By the way, Drake killed this hook. Like, this is when Drake was first coming out in 2009. Yeah. He was beefing since then, like starting, because like if you're at the top, people are always going to gun for you. And, you're going to have to defend your throne. That's just the reality of any field that you're in. At movie actors, what happened in the 80s and 90s when it was Sylvester Stallone versus Arnold Schwarzenegger? What happened there? They were going back and forth at each other. They were taking pot shots at each other, making jokes of each other. All this happens in sports. Who's the best? Steph Curry, LeBron James, whoever you want to throw. Michael Jordan, Bill Russell, whoever, anybody. Just throw names. They're all competing. People compete. That's the reality of the situation. So I agree with Suge Knight, and I agree with the thing. Now, does it obviously take away from J. Cole? No. If he drops Fall Off, it's a fire album. People are going to move on from the situation. And here's the thing that can kind of save J. Cole. If there's stories that come out later on about why J. Cole backed out, and it had it like maybe because people are speculating that maybe Drake and Kendrick have so much hate and animosity towards each other that they're going to diss each other to like extreme levels of like revealing things about each other that people don't know. And that J. Cole was like, yo, like, this is not my battle. Clearly, let me back out and let these guys kind of do their thing. So, I don't know, but we'll keep our eyes posted on that. And Suge Knight has a point for the most part. Besides the gangster rapper part, J. Cole's not a gangster rapper. Continuing on, and this is where I mean that this is possibly a reason why J. Cole backed out. There's probably something simmering, and this is according to Rory Amal's podcast. Amal claimed that Drake told him this. So let's go over the article first, and then I'll go into a little bit more. On the latest episode of the new Rory Amal podcast, Amal claimed that Drizzy told him he had doubts about joining Cole on stage at this past weekend's Dreamville Festival, where the North Carolina rap star controversially apologized to Kendrick Lamar for firing back at him on 7 Minute Drill. He said this: "You might get mad at me for talking about, but he knows he's my guy. I asked Drake one question. I said, yo, you going to Dreamville Fest this weekend?" Mal said, and he gave me an answer that was kind of weird Friday night hearing it, but Sunday night it made all the sense in the world. He says, I don't know, should I? Because it's weird right now. Are we performing the record? Can we ever perform first-person shooter? The podcaster continued to relay Drake's response seemingly in his own words. He has to change the bar now. He has to shit on Kendrick now. So we're going to shit on Kendrick every time we do the record. Nobody wants to hear us together unless we diss on Kendrick. That's the wild thing out of this whole thing. Kendrick Lamar literally ruined their first-person shooter record because now it sounds weird. The big three isn't me, Kendrick, and me. Like, it just, Muhammad Ali, like it just sounds, that whole record now, I can't even listen to it anymore because you can't believe it. And I heard rumors that first-person shooter record was originally supposed to have all three of them on the track. And apparently somebody from Drake's team, or I don't know whose team, maybe J. Cole, reached out and tried to get Kendrick on the track. Kendrick wanted no parts of it. That's a rumor. I don't know if it's true. I'm just saying I heard it from, I don't know who I heard it from, man. A producer or something like that, I think, if I remember. But yeah, they try to get the big three on there. By the way, when you guys listen, when there's a big three, we're talking currently right now. We're not talking of all of hip-hop that they're their biggest ever. Relax, guys, because I know some people comment, oh, what about Eminem? He's a big three. Like, relax, guys. There's other artists, Kanye, big, that are huge, Lil Wayne, whatever, all these other artists, Jay-Z, whoever. We're just talking right now, currently in hip-hop, who dominate mostly on the charts, who are the ones that people check for the most. And Eminem, Jay-Z, Kanye, and all these other people had their chance, had their time. Now, Kanye's still relevant, got #1 hit. Shout out to him. Vultures was a huge success, but he's not in the big three conversations. Regardless, that record, first-person shooter, was supposed to have all three of them on there, which would have been crazy. I actually would have enjoyed that, but didn't happen. Drake and J. Cole got closer, went on tour together, so on and so forth. This, with Drake saying, I don't know if I should join the Dreamville Festival because it's weird now performing the track because of everything that's going on with the Kendrick thing. Maybe there's something simmering behind the scenes with J. Cole and Drake, that something went wrong. that Drake was like, listen, now it's looking really weird. Are you going to side with me in this battle? Or are you going to side with your friend that you've known for a while, Kendrick Lamar? What are you going to do? Maybe Drake put a battery in J. Cole's back to respond to Kendrick Lamar. Maybe J. Cole regretted that and was like, man, I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have felt the pressure because it's mainly Drake and Kendrick's battle. And personally, if J. Cole never responded to Kendrick, I would have no issues with it because, like I said, like that is mainly a shot at Drake. Like 80% is at Drake, 20% is at J. Cole. So, if J. Cole never responded, I would have been perfectly fine with that. But this is worse than not responding. Like dropping the track and then backtracking it 2 days later just is bad. So that's what Maul said, that Drake was like, I don't know if I should be at the Dreamville Festival. Things are looking a little weird. Yeah, so continuing on from there, though, Joe Budden on his podcast said that Drake and Kendrick Lamar are readying nuclear diss songs, and that it's up, and that this is it. We're getting the battle. First, I don't know how much I believe Joe Budden. First off, he might just be saying this for clicks and views, and he's gotten headlines from it. Everybody's talking about it basically. So we don't know how much we can trust Joe Budden on this, but I've been wanting this battle since 2017. Now, I know the Control verse started basically in 2013. From there, things got weird with Drake and Kendrick. But in 2017, I kind of realized, okay, with Kendrick reaching his peak commercially, Drake being at his peak, like, listen, this would be fire. Now, if that would have happened in 2017, it would have been way bigger, but it's still big right now, obviously. It's huge. It's like Pacquiao and Mayweather. If they would have fought both in their primes, it would have been a way better fight, but they fought a lot later when they both got older, slower, and less responsive and less punchy or whatever, not having as much punch in their fight. But, with this Drake and Kendrick thing, I think we still got their prime right now. Not like prime, but still good, still hypey. Everybody's, hyped about it. But let's see what Joe Budden had to say, man. I'm going to play this. Actually, I can't play it. It's going to get copyrighted. Joe Budden really copyrights shit. So let's go over the article, basically. On the latest episode of the Joe Budden podcast, published on Wednesday, April 10th, the media personality kicked things off by hyping the Buddy rivalry. Get out the way, he said. Whatever little rappy shit you thought was going on, this is not that. And something's coming. I think that J. Cole knows that from either Kendrick or Drake or both. And it was time to bow out because we are no longer in the first round. Kendrick has earned himself a bye with Cole's apology, but I think that the insiders know, actually, I have it on good information that both sides went in the booth and came out. They continue, what I'm hearing about both sides is it's nuclear. It's up. I'm hearing this from people that can rap, so I want to come in here and say that the speculation time is over. Debate time is over. I've been saying this for a few pods now that I've seen absolutely nothing from Drake to get me excited enough to think that he will be capable of doing what needs to be done against the likes of a Kendrick Lamar. I'm here to say that there is no longer any need for me to instigate it. Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm tired of this bullshit of hyping things up with Drake. The same thing, mind you, Drake has never responded to Pusha T's story of Adidon. Never got a response to that. All they did was hype this supposed diss track that was supposed to come out from Drake, and it was supposed to expose mainly Kanye West, which takes away the attention from Pusha T, and that it was supposed to ruin relationships and that potentially Drake slept with Kim Kardashian and all this stuff. You had Jay Prince go on radio run saying, we couldn't release it. It was too diabolical. Drake was going in too much. Like, why even mention that? Who cares? I don't care about the hype of a diss track coming out. Why don't we go to the old days? Just drop the fucking track. That's the respectable thing about J. Cole. Even though he apologized, we got a random drop. That's what Kendrick does. Random drop. Boom. Diss track out of nowhere. We didn't expect it. Boom. Here we are. What are you going to do, Drake? Oh, I'm going to do IG captions. I'm going to do, a hype about this. I'm going to write on my whiteboard that I'm the competitive, rap is a competitive sport and that I should be the best and I'm the one. And everybody aims for the one. And I'm going to do all these other things but drop a diss track. I get it. He wants to be calculated. I get it. He wants to take his time. But you can't do that when you're clowning other artists for taking their time. Meek Mill, for example. What did how many days did it take Pusha T to respond to Drake's Duppy? I want to look that up right now because I don't remember. Let me see. Let's see. The Story of Adidon. This is a track that came out May 29th. Let's see where Drake dropped Duppy. which I like Duppy, by the way. Duppy's a dope-ass diss track. May 25th, May 29th, May 25th. Waited 4 days. Where y'all at? Pusha T, boom, within 4 days got you and dropped a vicious diss track. Now, granted, he probably had a lot of that planned, and I wouldn't be surprised. But 4 days. 4 days. Now, in the social media era, right? If an artist wants to take time releasing a diss track, that's totally fine with me. Just don't be on social media. If right now Drake didn't drop a diss track, it took him this long, which is taking him 2, 3, 4 weeks, whatever we're at right now. But he didn't release any IG captions. It was just on tour and didn't pretend like didn't do these speeches and these type of things and act aggressive. Just was on tour, finishing his tour. We didn't hear a peep from him. Then something would have been like, now people would have clowned Drake and be like, oh, look, he's ducking. He's always on social media. But now that Kendrick got him to tuck his tail and he's not responding, I wouldn't have said that. I would have been like, maybe he's cooking something up. That's why he's not responding. He hasn't said anything on social media because he's focused. That's the way I would have looked at it. But you can't, I don't know, man. You can't be on social media and pretend like nothing's happening when you're getting flamed over here. But there's speculation, according to Joe Budden, and a lot of people, there's no really proof to this, that Drake is dropping a diss track this upcoming Friday. The same time Future and Metro Boomin dropped the We Still Don't Trust You album. So, I don't know. There's rumors that Pusha T is featured on the We Still Don't Trust You album. There's rumors that potentially Kendrick Lamar is featured on it again. I don't want another featured verse from Kendrick Lamar going at Drake. That's going to be whack to me. Like if Drake responds with a full diss track, Kendrick, you got to come with a full diss track at that point. No more featured guests and stuff. Like that will really tell like who can get a number one hit. If Drake gets a number one off the diss track and Kendrick doesn't, it's going to look like, damn, Drake's doing his thing. If Kendrick does it and Drake doesn't, they should just drop the diss track at the same time and compete in the charts. See who gets the number one off it. I don't know. There's so many ways this can go, but one thing I do know is I'm tired of the hype for Drake. Drop the fucking track. There's no more of this shit that happened with Pusha T. I don't want to hear about potentially this song coming, this and that. You know, what Drake should do is drop an EP. Hear me out. An EP called The Light Pack, making fun of basically making fun of them, of Kendrick at least calling him his light work. That his music is light work. Just drop The Light Pack and drop 3 tracks. Now, why 3 tracks? 1 going at Kendrick, 1 going at Future, with Metro Boomin, by the way. Let's do both, because Metro Boomin is mainly a producer, so we'll throw him in there. 3rd one going at William Roberts, aka Rick Ross. And preferably, in my perfect world, I would love that to feature 50 Cent. That's in my perfect world. That's what I would love. If the first Drake and 50 Cent collab is cooking William Roberts, I would love that. But that's in my perfect world. I don't think that would ever happen. But I would love a 3-track breakdown like that or just fuck it, bro. Do what Game did with 300 bars and running. You got to give Game props, even though it's dismantling G Unit here, which is my favorite rap group of all time. You know what? A 20-minute fucking just onslaught, or even 10 minutes. I know a lot of people's attention span at today's time, especially the kids, wouldn't listen to the 20-minute diss track, but even 10 minutes, bro. That would be fucking fire. Cook, flame Future, flame Kendrick, flame Rick Ross, and drop a piggy bank style record where you're just cooking everybody. That would put Drake, for me, if Drake did something like that, I'm not even joking with you guys, that would put Drake in the top 5 rappers of all time for me, personally. I would have different level of respect for Drake if that happened. I would view him as an actual rapper. Now, I still view him as an actual rapper. He can rap. He can rap his ass off. And anybody that denies that or throws a ghostwriting things and says, oh, he's a ghostwriter, he doesn't do... No. Dude, Jack Harlow in the Churchill Downs record, which Drake snapped on that record, said, hey, in 11 minutes, I saw him write this iconic ass... Go listen to the verse, man. It's a fire verse. 11 minutes wrote it down in front of everybody. So to say that Drake can't write, he's written songs for other artists. Like, Drake can write, man. That whole ghostwriting thing is just like, hey, some little things happen. People got ideas. People get help here and there. Nothing wrong with that. Now, if somebody's writing whole verses for you, you know, consistently, or even one time, honestly, writing whole verses for a rapper, I don't agree with. Writing hooks, I don't mind. I think hook is just like part of the pop, you know, getting a hit. That I don't mind. If like a rapper needed a hook written for him and stuff, I'm totally fine with that. But verses, whole different thing. So Drake never really got whole verses written for him. As he had lines or here and there, yeah. I mean, you can hear in the, if you're reading this, it's too late. Some, running through the six with my woes. Shout out Quentin Miller. But I don't want to hear this bullshit about, we got a track coming. So we'll see. We'll know Friday by the time I record Monday's episode of the podcast. We'll know, and when it's up. So we'll keep our eyes posted. Billboard Hot 100, a true number one hit like that is still number one, man. Future, Metro Boomin, Kendrick Lamar, and it's projecting to still be number one next week, which is amazing. And a lot of people are crediting that to Kendrick Lamar dissing Drake. Nah, man, the record's just a hit. And it was just a perfect record to go at Drake in. Like, it's a hit record. That's all it is, man. It's catchy. It's stuck in my fucking head. Whether Kendrick was featured on it or not, I'll still be bumping this record. So, still number one. Shout out to Future, Metro, and Kendrick. That is Kendrick Lamar's longest running number one hit, which was a surprise to me and quite funny. Honestly, Drake's kind of cooked him when it comes to charts and sales and stuff. But, yeah. Number 2, Beyonce, Texas Hold'em. Number 3, Beautiful Things, Benson Bone. Number 4, Too Sweet, Hosier. Number 5, Lose Control, Teddy Swims. Number 6, Beyonce debut, 2, Most Wanted, Beyonce, Miley Cyrus. Number 7, debut, Beyonce, Jolene. Number 8, Lovin' on Me, Jack Harlow. Number 9, We Can't Be Friends, Ariana Grande. And number 10, Type Shit, Future, Metro Boomin, Travis Scott. Carnival back up at number 11. Ye and Ty Dolla $ign. Going down, SZA Snooze, number 17. SZA Saturn, number 19. Sexy Red, Get It Sexy. Number 20, Agora Hills, Doja Cat, number 21. Cinderella Future, number 25, with Metro Boomin and Travis Scott. Red Rum, 21 Savage, number 28. Act 2, Date at 8, 4 Bats, featuring Drake, number 36. Young Metro, Future, Metro Boomin, number 40. We Don't Trust You, Future, Metro Boomin, number 43. Going down, Fiend, Travis Scott, Playboi Carti, number 53. That's a re-entry. Yeah, Glow, Stomp a Lip. Damn, it's going down the charts. I was hoping this would go higher up, man. Number 35 was the peak, but it's at 56 right now. But probably because of the Beyonce stuff entering, too. But that's number 56. Enough. Cardi B, Miami, number 62. Going down. Ice Attack, Future, Metro Boomin, number 72. Everybody, Nicki Minaj, number 75. Future, Metro Boomin, Slimed In, number 78. Nice. FTCU, Nicki Minaj, number 88. Fried, She a Vibe, number 91. Future, Metro Boomin. Claustrophobic, number 92. Future, Metro Boomin. Number 93, Magic Don Juan, Princess Diana, Future, Metro Boomin. Number 96, Everyday Hustle, Future, Metro Boomin. And that's it for the Billboard Hot 100. And that's it for today's episode of the Diverse Mentality Podcast. As always, shout out to Golden Eagle Energy Drink for sponsoring the podcast all of season 4. Shout out to them. Go to drinkgoldeneagle.com/DMP. That's drinkgoldeneagle.com/DMP, guys. Show love, show support. They're showing us support. That's how we're getting the podcast continuing. If it wasn't for them, it wouldn't be possible. So show them love. Spotify, Deezer, Podcast, YouTube, all that. You know the drill. Have an amazing night, day, whenever you're listening to this, and peace.